What is up? VIP Club April. Like seriously, April. First quarter done. Sorry, just had to make sure my mic was on. First quarter done. We're diving into spring. It's ball season, so I love that. But let's dive. I got kind of a lot to talk about this month, and I'm going to try and keep it short because it is a lot. So what we're going to do is obviously at the end I'll do a little question. I think this one's going to be interesting, and I always love hearing your responses. But first, of course, I'll give you guys a little bit of an update. But the reason I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer, I like to try to go over some of the government involvement and the different programs and what they mean, because quite frankly, there's a lot. In the last little bit, there's been a lot, and I thought maybe I could quickly summarize them today. So first, market update. This will be easy, not much. Much like March, February, January, since December, nothing's really happened with the rates. The movement's been so minute, it's not even really worthy mentioning. Like, it's been really small. And of course, the Bank of Canada, again yesterday, announced that they're not moving the overnight lending rate, which means the prime rates are going to stay, the prime rate stays the same. So nothing to report there. I really just get the sense that the reality is that there's so many economic indicators that say we should reduce the rates, that there's an overwhelming amount of data that says the rate should come down. However, the spring market in real estate is traditionally very busy. And I think what they're concerned is if they reduce the rates, it's going to run away from them. And a lot of this tightening we did to reduce inflation is going to go wild. So I kind of get why they're doing it. As much as I want them to come down, I get it. So I think once we get through the spring market, end of May, June, July, somewhere in there, that's when I think we're going to start seeing them steadily decrease. So that's your rate update. Let's get into this government situation. So we've seen over the last little bit a lot of government attempts to address the housing crisis in Canada, and both federally and provincially. Like a lot of things government, most of their attempts are either useless or PR stunts, but there are a couple nuggets. So let's do the federal government here. And again, I'm going to try to do this fairly quickly and not get caught in the minutia of it, because that's not the point. I think I will give the governments credit. They're trying. They're trying to do something to fix, really the mess they created. But still, they're trying to fix it. But just some of it's just not great. So federally. So the first thing the federal government attempted to do about a couple weeks ago is introduce this renter bill of rights. I think it's dumb. I think it's complete PR. If you look in BC's particularly, the Tenancy Act of British Columbia has teeth. It really does. And the truth be told, it favors tenants. It really does. So I don't know that this Bill of Rights is going to move the needle of anything. I think it's more PR. There's one thing that I think people have to realize, that shitty landlords are always going to be shitty. They're going to push the envelope. They're going to do dodgy stuff. And realistically, it's hard to stop them. And this Bill of Rights isn't going to do it. I think it sucks when they work around the rules. For example, saying that they're going to move a family member into a rental so they can get them out a month later and jack the rent up. I agree that's bullshit. But the reality is this Bill of Rights isn't going to change those people from breaking those rules. So I don't know. I thought that one was dumb. And I think the fortunate side for us in BC is the Tenancy Act does have teeth. Okay. So the government, so that one was lame. The next thing that I want to talk about federally is the announcement today. So the housing minister announced some agenda items, if you will. So the first one that I think is dumb is they're raising the RSP threshold. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you used to be able to put down $35,000 of your RSPs for a down payment, and they're increasing that to $60,000. I think this one's dumb, because if you have $60,000 in RSPs, you probably have enough for a down payment. I don't know the last time I saw someone buying their first home with $60,000 in RSPs. Yeah, sure, if you've been in a home for a while and things, like people have $60,000, but not first-time home buyers. So I thought that one was a little bit weak. Now, the next one that I think is actually good. And if you're a first-time home buyer, okay, number one, first-time home buyer, and you put less than 20% down, traditionally, the maximum amortization you can take is 25 years. And come August 1st, they're going to push that out to 30. So I can tell you that that's actually a good thing. That's going to be helpful. Now, let's say what it is. It's not going to take you from condo to house. It's not that. But I ran a quick number. Obviously, every mortgage is different, every rate's different. But if you have a place for 500 grand, it's probably going to save you about 200 bucks a month. So again, not huge, but with gas prices and groceries, I think that's helpful. So I applaud the federal government on that one. I think that was a good one. Let's move to the provincial side now. So on the provincial side, some of these have been around for a bit, but I wanted to clarify them. So you have the short-term rental ban. For those of you that don't know it, to simplify it, Airbnb. I do not love this one. I see the merit, but I think it's more harm than good. So the idea is if we eliminate short-term rentals, then that's more things that they can do for long-term rentals or people's residences. The challenge with that is that in some communities, they rely on those short-term rentals for tourism dollars. It's a huge benefit. And all you're doing is either going to eliminate people visiting that community, or you're just making the hotel chains loaded. So I don't love that. I also don't love it because there's a lot of people that bought property to Airbnb, not just for a get-rich-quick scheme. It was part of their retirement plan. Like older people thought they could do this and down the road, move into the place, rent it part-time, and then just to pull it out from under them. I don't think that was super fair. I know that we have a crisis on supply, but I don't think that this was the way to do it. This feels like a little bit like government overreach in the marketplace. The next one, which I think they did a good job provincially. No, let's save good job for the end. The other one that I thought was dumb is the anti-flipping tax. The reason I think this one's dumb is for two reasons. Back to what I said about the renter's bill of rights. Shitty landlords are going to be shitty, and you can do whatever you want with the anti-flipping tax. People are going to find ways around it and break the rules. So, you're not stopping that. So that part that I don't like, and the other part I don't like about it is that when you look at the numbers. So I pulled some numbers offline from the Canadian Real Estate Board. In 2022, the amount of people that sold their home within the year was 7%. Okay. However, of the 7%, 5 of it was exempt. Right? There's a huge list of exemptions: divorces, economic hardship. So of those 7%, 5 of it didn't have to pay anyways. So you put in this huge rule for 2%. It's not even going to move the needle. It's not. It's a drop in the ocean. I thought that was silly, and I mean, I get you're trying, but I just think there was a better way. The last thing that the provincial government did, and this is a good one, and they have, and it's property transfer tax. So property transfer tax is a huge expense when acquiring property in BC. And traditionally, first-time homebuyers could get an exemption for under 500 grand. There's some partial exemptions, but they're small. So let's just stick with the big number of 500 grand. Well, what the provincial government did is, if you buy under 500 grand, you still get that full exemption, no property transfer tax. However, if you buy up to 835, you get $8,000 off. So do you have to pay some? Yes. But I would argue if you're buying a place for like 700 grand, you can afford a little property transfer tax. But I thought that that's really good. That's helpful, right? Sure, the under 500 grand people, business as usual, but we also know there's a lot of first-time home buyers buying places under 800 grand. So I thought that was a really helpful one. So I guess to wrap up this whole government involvement thing, outside of the positives that they're doing to affect affordability, the solution, although gargantuan, is simple. It's supply. We need to build more. We have too many people with not enough places to live, and you can F around with all the little rules with the inventory we have now, and you'll get very limited results, or you could F and build more. And I know that the government's not going to get involved with building themselves, but why not get involved with fixing the permitting situation? There's a lot of developers that are ready to rock, but it's taking years to get permits, and it's super expensive. Like, let's get these guys going. They want to build, they have the resources, and all of a sudden, if you start building more and you have more units available, well, what a surprise. All of a sudden, there's no rental dilemmas. The market will come down on rent because there's lots of places to rent. And all of a sudden, people have places to live. Like, it seems, I know it's not super easy just to crank up a condo, but it's still, that's the solution. We need more supply. So, enough ranting and raving about government. Let's go into the question of the month. And the question of the month is, what is something that you have never tried that you want to? I don't know if I've got an answer for you. I don't know if I want to, but I have a curiosity, if you will. And it more stems upon, for me, trying something I'm scared to do. And I've done things like, I've jumped out of a plane, I've skydived before, so a lot of that stuff doesn't scare me. I'm terrified to sing in front of people. Like really scary. Partly because I'm awful. Like, breathtakingly bad. But that would be a huge, I can't believe I sang in front of people. I'm probably never gonna do it. Really in front with you. Maybe I'll rap in front of people. A little Ice Ice Baby, It's Tricky by Run DMC, no problem. But to actually carry a tune, I don't know. I'm scared of it. So what are something that you want to try? Hope you guys are having a great second quarter, start to spring, and I hope to get all your answers soon.